5 for the record. Thank you for the recording there. And I'm going to go ahead, apologies because I'm driving. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Tanya. Tanya.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. We're here this evening for the Town Square restroom facility by the library. This is a public information workshop this evening. At our last meeting with council and the public, we were asked to place the two options that were previewed at that time in large format in the town administrative lobby so that folks who would like to see a larger scale of the plans could stop by. In doing so, they were then directed over to Public Works, where they were able to leave feedback with Mr. Peter from Public Works. So the feedback we had, and there were just a couple people that stopped by, and the feedback was that they preferred, of the two options, they preferred this option that's on my screen now. Can everybody see that? And in looking at this option, we had one resident who asked that it be scaled down to be just a little bit smaller, maybe some less facilities and less stalls and things like that. So that was the feedback that we received from one resident, but they did appreciate this style. So I'm going to take us through the options. This is option number 1. This is in the administrative complex. Option number 1 is a pretty standard, more narrow restroom, providing a men's and women's restroom on either side. And in the middle of that at the front, you have a family standalone restroom. So this would allow for either men's and women's sides to be locked, and then just the family restroom open for basketball players and those using the park. So that was a pretty standard design there. Next, we moved on to option number 2. Whoops, I'm so sorry. We moved on to option number 2. Option number 2 was having singular pods that could be locked off in a formation similar to what you see here and similar to what Mr. Withers had designed in his iteration. So this again is something that allows you to lock each of those off. This was not as favorably seen from those who visited the administrative lobby in the last couple of weeks. What the designer wanted us to know with this is that this has quite a few stalls. This could be tapered down to lose a few of those stalls if this was something that council and the community would like us to move forward with. And then yesterday, John and I were trying to take a look at option number 1 and maybe come up with a little bit more simplified version with a few less fixtures. So we came up with an option number 3, and that's what you see on the screen here. This provides a men's and women's side again, provides a standalone family restroom in the middle, and then also provides the 2 ADA stalls at the back. So on the women's side, you're getting 2 standard stalls and an ADA and 2 sinks. And on the men's side, you're getting a urinal, a standard stall, and an ADA. One thing that John thought, and he apologizes for not being here this evening, but he had a double booked commitment. But one of the options he thought was maybe adding some type of storage to the back here that would allow my team to have mops, buckets, cleaning supplies and things like that at the back of the building here in a little type of storage area for this particular standalone restroom. So with that, I am done previewing the 3 options, and we can open it up to public comment if you would like to do so, Mayor.
And Tony, real quick, the family room would be open for basketball, stuff like that, and then you can lock the men's and women's room.
Yes. Correct? Yep. Yes, this is the same as option number 1. You can lock both those sides and just leave the family restroom open for basketball players and park users during the week.
Thank you.
Yes.
Robert, do you mind taking the public comment? I cannot tell who has their hand up because, like I said, unfortunately, I'm on a device rather than my computer.
Yes, sir. Be safe. If you can, raise your hand, virtual hand, and I'll call on you. All right. Stephen Withers.
Just a quick comment on an accessible passageway. The door handle side of the door has to have 18 inches before the wall. which we might have at the two front entrances, but we probably don't have back at the ADA units. But this plans that we're looking on the screen right now is certainly a better plan than the previous one. It's the right size and it has all the pieces and parts that you need. The family bathroom could stick out like it was before a little bit, just to give more room in that family room. But this is what I think we need. Uh, so my comment is this plan that's up here is looking pretty good. I certainly don't mind the pods if that's considered a more visible thing from the tennis courts, or I mean from the shuffle basketball courts. I can get that right. There was a lot of concern about seeing the doors. This, you can see the doors from wherever, and is the right size.
Yes, sir.
End of comment.
Yeah, great comment. Molly Rose?
Okay. Hi, what is it, the pros and cons to having the unisex bathrooms? I actually saw Steven's design and I like that one a lot. And also, I don't know, it seems kind of overkill to have a big family and then two big ADAs. Is that code required?
The code requires ADA for any public restroom. But I think the intent was to develop the family room, which is ADA accessible. So we can close the women's and men's until we have an event. But the family restroom will be open to people playing basketball or playing soccer in the town square.
Okay, so we need the family one, but do we also need two ADAs, I guess then my question is.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's code. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
He didn't
All right.
answer the-
So again, I like the unisex ones better. And is there a pro and con to doing it that way and then just keeping one of those open for basketball?
I mean, if you go to Tony, if you go to like number 2, I mean, the footprint of unisex it'd be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 family restrooms.
Yeah,
They-
but Stephen did one that had, I think, 4.
yeah, even 4, the queue would be pretty hefty. Um, Again, we're not reinventing the wheel. Every time you go to Universal, Disney, a regular restroom, we all know what the layout is. So again, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to build something that fits within the footprint that was chosen, which is next to the library.
Okay, well, I'm happy that it's getting smaller regardless. We don't need as big as other places. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, Brandy?
Okay, so as a matter of protocol, I'm just going to be upfront here. I don't like that we had, these two drawings last time, and we talked about Stephen's drawing. So I did give a recap to the people that I text. So that's why Molly is referring to Stephen's drawing, because I did send that image because it is what we discussed at the last meeting. Now there's a third option, which I sent out to option 1, option 2, and Stephen's option to get feedback from people, which I'll tell you what those comments were. But now we have a third design that you guys came up with John Fitzgibbons, and I appreciate the work, but I don't like the matter of protocol that we showed one set of designs at the last public input workshop. Now we're showing a third one here that the people from the last one didn't see. So they haven't had a chance to see it. It wasn't advertised on the website, and they're not, getting a chance to see that third option. So nobody's had a chance to see that. And also I didn't have it when I sent it out as the group message. So I think we need to tighten up the protocol of how we're releasing information to the public and making sure we're staying, completely within the sunshine, that people are having an opportunity to see these things before we're showing it at a meeting on the spur of the moment. I mean, We've knocked the 500 block people and other people for doing that. So I don't like doing that because it's not consistent and the residents are all seeing different things. So that being said, uh, some of the comments that I got from people that weren't able to be on the meeting tonight, which Molly Rose had commented, but I'm glad she's here tonight, so I don't need to say that one. And I did show Steven's drawing, to everybody. So I showed them these two plus Steven's drawing. So I got feedback from, and I'll provide this to you, Dorothy, later, so you have it if you need it, for the record. But Pamela Scrimshner, and I'm not sure I'm saying that right, says the unisex stalls get my support. Olga Alexandrova Pleener said unisex stalls hosed and agree with it being locked at night because there was discussion and commentary in this group about, being able to hose them down and clean them and stuff easier. Karen Fay says, okay, then less square footage for Stevens design, less dollar signs, less yard used, all for our handicap, go unisex, and I'm in. Randy Kunkel said, I think the rendering in Keller is in keeping with the town character, which was the rendering that Stephen provided. Plan B, which was option 3, because Stephen had labeled it Plan B because that was before the other option 2 had come up from Tom Price. Plan B is good with the rendering. I agree that the parents should be able to see what stall their child is in. The porch is a great idea. It should be easy to clean and maintain. I think you have covered the design very well. And then he thanks me for my help with sending information and the work on, that I've done with the bathrooms. Liz Andert said, I like the sketch, unisex and hosed in the locked. Whatever design is chosen, I do not like the idea of a skylight that I saw in the one design presented on the last Zoom. I feel like that it is unnecessary and could require repairs if it leaks or cracks. She also made a comment that she was one of 3 or 4 on the last call and had to exit before she could make comment. And she disagrees that Zoom encourages more attendance over in person and that we need to work on attendance. And then Nancy Bardot said, I am out of town and unable to participate in the Zoom tonight. I prefer option 3, the hand-drawn option, the best. And then the last one was from Hannah London, and her comments were option 3 seems to make the most sense. Option 2 is impractical with roof line to start with, potential future costs to replace, skylight, potential water intrusion, weak point. Option 1, traditional style, is too big, better with one less stall, but if it's being locked most of the time, then waste of money. Option 3 also gives choice to lock off individual stalls needing maintenance without blocking all restrooms. So those were the comments that I got back today. Of course, I didn't have this option 3 that was presented tonight to share with the residents, and I'm reaching out to probably 100 people or more. So I don't have any feedback about the smaller one. So my other suggestion would be that since some people saw one thing at one input workshop and other people saw something at this input workshop, that if it's looking like people are liking the smaller version that was presented tonight as option 3 and Stevens as option 3, that maybe those two need to be put on the easel because again, the people who went to the town hall or town admin offices that gave Peter and Public Works their feedback also didn't see the option 3 I sent out or the option 3 that was presented tonight. So I think there needs to be one more public workshop to get feedback before we move this forward in fairness to the residents. That's all for my comments.
Thank you, Brandy. Tony, can you go to option 3, please? Again, my only comment is we're not reinventing the wheel. I mean, this is a typical restroom that you would walk into. We scaled it down. We got the information, I think it was yesterday afternoon. But I mean, this is a typical restroom that everybody's walked into. I mean, we can get into door handles, like Steven said, but I mean, the schematic of the entire thing, you got you know, two sinks, in the men's room you have one urinal, then you have a stall, which, my son, every time I take him into a men's room, I don't let him use the ADA in case somebody needs it, but he likes to go to the bathroom in the stall. But is this anything that is atypical of what you go into for a restroom anywhere?
Robert, I don't think I appreciate your opinion, but it's your opinion and everybody has an opinion. And I feel that the residents should have the opportunity to look at if we're narrowing it down, like if we've got it narrowed down tonight, fine, we have it narrowed down. I just think that it's the residents who live in this town, it's their taxpayer dollars that are paying for it. I just think that they should have the opportunity to have their input be heard and that we make the best decision. I understand this is a typical layout in what you see. I completely agree. But this is what if you're asking my opinion, I think this is a typical layout of what you would see at Universal Studios or Disney or SeaWorld or something like that. Is this typical of what I see in a park or a playground like Bill Frederick Park or even the Windermere Rec Center? No, it's not. It's not typical of what you see in a park. It's typical of what you see in an amusement park. So I think there's two different distinctions, but I just feel that the input should come from the residents, with all due respect, rather than from our town manager, because it's the taxpayer dollars that are paying for this. And I just think everybody should have the opportunity to see what we're discussing. And I understand, I mean, I get that it came to you last minute, but you had it yesterday. I actually, at the last meeting, I requested, I told you guys it was last minute. Three of the council members didn't know about the January 6th meeting. Um, and we like to be on to hear the public's input. And I said, when the new one gets scheduled, let me know so I can let people know in advance. And the only reason I found out the meeting was happening tonight was because I got up yesterday morning and thought, oh my gosh, nobody said anything about it. And our town council workshop is coming up next week. So did I miss it? Has it happened? And I found it by looking on the website. So I sent my text out yesterday morning. If I had had this, I would have had the opportunity to send it to the residents, but I didn't have it. And it wasn't on display in the town offices. And so I just don't think we're doing things the right way with this. I think we need to get the input. We've had too many things kick back at us in the 11th hour. We wouldn't even be down this path if it weren't for everything that had happened with the pavilion. So I like to get the feedback. I like the residents to have enough notification. You know, I do have people that say they like the in-person meetings. I have the people that say they like the other one. I thought the easels was a good alternative because people were able to go in and see it if they wanted to see it large scale. Some people did. That's great. Only what they saw isn't the two that we're hearing the best feedback about so far.
I'm not sure what, so thank you, Brandy. I hear you and I appreciate everything that you're saying. The opportunity to look and have the public meet in person to discuss all of these, to provide input to council and for council to discuss them, would still be available to everyone at the public or the town council workshop on Tuesday. So I don't think that you're necessarily losing or anyone's losing the opportunity to provide input or to review any of the plans that have been put out there for discussion. Remember that's not a vote. That's just an opportunity for council to discuss it further and get additional public input. It could be utilized to do exactly what you're saying, I think.
I mean, I can agree with that, but I do think we have an obligation to be making sure that what we're going to present in a meeting is available online for people to see in advance. So moving forward, if we're having public input workshops like this and a new design pops up, then maybe we need to consider rescheduling and postponing the public input workshop so that everyone has the opportunity to see it without just moving forward to the town council workshop. Because, some meetings we let people talk at the public workshops. And the council workshops, sometimes the council talks. I mean, we're not being consistent. I can probably go back and name 6 meetings where we let the public talk at this one, and then the next time it's a town council workshop, sorry, we don't want to hear public comment. We just need to be consistent. And if it's going to be at the town council workshop, then either all 4 options need to be included or whatever 2 we're thinking it's narrowed down to based on the feedback. Yeah, it just all needs to be put out there because this is about making sure we're transparent and that our residents are having the opportunity to see everything. So if that's the town council workshop, that's fine. But at the last 3 or 4 town council workshops, there's been certain ones where, Robert's made the announcement, it's for council to speak, not the residents. So we need to be consistent in that, make a decision and stick with it.
Stephen, do you have any issues with this one that's presented in front of you? Others?
I'm sitting here talking away, sorry. There's nothing wrong with this plan that's up on the screen right now, except maybe the door swings, but it's a standard, typical bathroom. Done. The one that I heard most criticism about was the one that had the 6 cubes, and the comment was that space in between, you got to roof it. You big expense there. That's just a wasted space, is what I heard. So I think the comment about that second plan was cost. I think the comment about the first plan was probably cost too. This addresses a lot of that cost issue right here that we're looking at. I think the little pods would be perfectly fine, and as Brandy said, they're more typical for a park than a building. This is a typical building bathroom we're looking at now. But no, I have no problems with that plan right there or the pods. I think we all probably ought to just take a look at the square footage and make sure we got the a comparison of cost, or at least a square foot cost, and know where we're going cost-wise, because I really think we need to be very conservative here. The other thing I have not had a chance to do was look at either any of these plans on the site plan, because how does it fit between the trees? I know John talked about taking limbs off to fit it in. Well, we probably need to have this plan and maybe the pots and the road plan established on a site plan so we can see exactly where it's going and how it fits. I think the second option tonight probably wouldn't even fit. So those are my comments. I think Brandy had a lot of good points, but they're more about process, as she said, than criticism of the plans. And
Correct.
I think we got 2 very good options that we need to price and look at it on a site plan.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Catherine or Molly, since you guys are the only other public that attended tonight. Molly?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, comment.
How do you feel about this plan that's in front of you tonight?
I actually agree with everything Steven suggested, that you take these 2, put them on a site, price them, and then go with the least expensive option that looks good on the site. And don't forget to add the storage in this plan.
And I would say, don't forget to add the water fountain. I don't have a problem with the design. I just want people to be able to see it. But I think
Right.
you still need a water refill station and a water fountain. I like the pod and I like this one. I like the 2 smaller ones. I still think there'll be the sightline issue for some of the parents, but if they're not getting on the meetings and speaking up, then they're not getting on the meetings and speaking up. But I think
Yeah, I
the
mean,
process is important.
the water fountains will be located on the north. I mean, I can't show you my thing, but above the F in family.
Mhm. On the
So
outside,
again,
right.
yes, ma'am, of course. So, all
The
right.
only other thing I would say is I did like on the pods that Stephen had the benches, which would be nice if you're sitting waiting to use it or waiting for people to come out. And he had a little bit more of a roof overhang. So you still will have queuing. So there was a little more space for people to be queued under a roof, and also potentially have the benches. So it really comes, I think a lot of it depends on what the square footages of these are because there was no measurements to look at. So that would be my only other comment because this looks like a very short roof extension if it's raining.
Catherine, any comments? Stephen, you have another comment or?
Just one comment. I mean, you talked about the water filling station on the north or this actually would be I think it's going to be the east
East.
wall. But the baby changing stations, I noticed in the first plan, it sort of showed them as intruding into they're making more space in the bathroom because of the handicap turnaround. Those koala type baby changing places drop down out of the wall or drop down, and they take up no floor space because a wheelchair can slide under them when they're, out. So
Yeah.
those can be easily added to any of these plans. And if someone sees they're missing, it's not an issue really to add them.
We're not reinventing the wheel. I mean, we will have, the koala stations and the ADAs in both women's and men's and in the family. It's just a pull down, strap them in, change them, get them out.
But they take no more square footage. It's just a matter of it being on the wall.
Yeah, so
Harold,
I would say we really need to see the dimensions of the footprint because I've had a lot of people ask that and the square footage of this design because I feel like it maybe looks smaller than the square footage will turn out to be, but that's okay. But I'd still like to see those numbers on there because I did have a lot of people ask me how big they were, square footage.
I mean, this one is less than
Oh, I
option
know it's
one
less than the option one. Yeah, I know.
and two. So,
Right.
yeah,
But
we can get that to you.
I calculated the square footage. I talked with Stephen earlier today, and I calculated the square footage for the third one. So, like, I have the numbers for that one, but I have no idea what this one would be. Mind you, it was ballpark estimates. So,
There, I'll leave it up to you.
I think thank you. I appreciate all of the input. I do we do allow for and always will allow for public comment. So I suggest we bring these forward and bring them to the and unless council's here and council I can't, I'm sorry, I can't see everyone. Unless council would like to delay the workshop. Um, and that I'll take that as input. And we can do that, but otherwise I think that there's not a lot that would stop everyone from looking at all of these and getting some additional input, maybe some estimated dimensions, and trying to move staff forward with direction so we can get actual pricing. Because remember that you're just taking these under advisement and giving staff direction from the workshop so we can get prices. Because right now, we don't know what the delta is between the different designs. I suspect they may be quite significant, and some may be closer than we might think. So I think that is another portion of that. And as far as site dimensions, I think there are some challenges there with some of those scaling for, especially the 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 design that is wider. I really I'm having difficulty figuring out how that's going to not have additional tree impacts and fit in that space. Again, though, that's just as we review it without some of the dimensions. So, but unless council tells me now that they would like to forego the workshop, I think we'll continue, and there'll be opportunity for public input at the workshop.
Well, I'm your only
Mr.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask for clarification as staff?
Of course.
Okay, so the question that I have that I've heard this evening, though, is we're really not a fan of option 2 for sure. This one we're not a fan of. And then option number 1 we're not a fan of because it's too large. So what I've heard this evening is that we would like maybe to compare this one that I have on the screen right now, which is the reduced one, to the one that Mr. Withers drew. So my question to Mr. Withers is, all I have seen though is a pretty rough pen sketch of that. So that makes it very difficult for me to bring that forward really to a workshop. Do we have something more formal on that?
I
At this
can do
time?
something more formal. Just as a FYI, the reason I raised my hand, this plan we're looking at right now on the screen is about 450 square feet, which is not very big at all. You got a space is probably 23 by 18 would make it work.
Yeah, Stephen, we're looking at 600 square feet.
Huh?
600 total.
For this
Okay.
one,
Yes, ma'am.
without the janitor's closet. Okay. The other one that Stephen did that I calculated, because I used the size boxes, just so you know, Tanya, the boxes that were provided by Tom Price that said what the size of each unisex pod would be.
Yeah.
I took those and I multiplied them out to get a calculation for his. And I considered the janitor closet in Stephen's design to be half the size of one of those pods. And then the square footage for the roof with the support poles that would be over the waiting area. And I calculated all that out and went over it earlier today. But anyways, it was 311 square feet of interior bathroom space because I was doing the same process you guys did for option 1 and 2. And 241 square foot of porch area for a total of 552 square feet for the design that Stephen did. That's approximate because, obviously. But I used the size pods that was
Yeah.
provided by Tom Price to get those calculations.
Okay. All right. So, and then the other thing that I heard was that we wanted to put these potential 2 plans on a site plan so people could look at it. So
Yeah, I think that would be good. And then Molly Rose or whoever, or Stephen's comment about, I forget who said it was probably Stephen, about where it would, maybe even showing where it would fit out there or the site plans, like he was saying. That would be beneficial.
yeah. So Robert, back to you with that information. How would you like to proceed forward?
Well, you're going to need more time for starters.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Because I do know that we could not, we don't have Stevens in a format that could be fit to a site plan at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think, go ahead, Robert.
We can hear you now, Robert.
Yeah, continue. I mean, I didn't hear the rest of your sentence.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robert. So what we were wanting to know is the fact that I don't have Stevens' design that would be ready to be put on a site plan for this one that we have on the screen and his at this point in time. So I think we were wondering, should we move the workshop back to have time to have a proper drawing from Stephen on his version?
And time to get these on site plans
Yeah.
for both.
And to have a proper drawing, because I don't really have a proper drawing to show at a workshop either.
Yeah, we still need a workshop because of the town hall rentals. So,
Yeah.
I mean, just gives another opportunity for town council to review stuff. But I mean, we can punt it. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the
Okay.
town hall rentals? What do you mean for the rentals?
What's that?
What do you
Different
mean for the town hall
conversation.
rentals? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's a different conversation. I don't want to mix the two right now, but
That's okay.
yeah, just to discuss future rentals.
Okay. Is that something to do with the app today? I didn't know what that was, but okay.
which, yes, I didn't know about that, but
Okay. I was like, I don't know what this is because did get a couple of questions about that, but that's fine. I'll talk with you later about that.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I will just clarify one more time. For the next meeting next week that we have with town council, I will bring this design that's on the screen. I will use Stephen's hand-drawn version for now. And we'll preview that to town council, those two options.
No, we'll punt this to February. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
we'll do another public information workshop.
Okay.
So
Yep.
yeah, we'll do the town hall rentals on
Okay.
next week.
Perfect. All right. And Stephen, I'll be calling you.
Well, I think I can, I've got one doctor's meeting with Angela tomorrow, but I think I can get the drawing done by tomorrow afternoon and get it to you.
I think the town manager just gave us some time, Stephen, so there's no need for you to rush with what you've got going on. We have till February.
We've waited this long. We can wait another month.
Yep.
Thank you, man.
All right, well,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
everything, Stephen.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you,
sir.
Stephen. Appreciate it. I don't have any more questions. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you, everyone. I'll turn it back to the mayor. All right.
Thank you, Tanya.
Anything additional for the good of the order?
Sure.
All right. Seeing none, we'll close the public information workshop today, January 22nd, 2026. We'll close that at 6:42 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor. Drive
Thank you.
careful.